Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Kan. I'm the founder of the Academy of Light Medicine and the Tokan Healing Method. In this series, I'm talking about healing myths, mistakes, and misconceptions. So today, I'd like to talk about the concept of whose fault is it anyway? When people get sick, they don't feel well, we're often looking for someone or something to blame. So sometimes we blame pharmaceutical industry or, Monsanto for making GMO foods or our mothers for treating us poorly when we were younger or our father's genetics causing the diabetes. And the list goes on, right? So one of the mistakes that we often make in the whole healing process is that we're looking outside of ourselves for whose fault is it anyway? Like, why are we sick? Now, I'm not negating that there are things in our environment which we do not seemingly have control over. And then when you discover these things, you get sometimes a little mad, like, discovering that, there is stuff in our water that is not healthy and that there's no positive evidence that it can actually help us, but there is some evidence that it can harm us, or that could be your food, or that could be, the deaths caused by, pharmaceutical agents or shots or things like that, right? Like when people first find out about these things, they can get pretty upset and they can feel betrayed. And I totally get that. I mean, been there, done that. There were a lot of things that I was told um, and learned through medical school and beyond that I just believed because I don't know, I figured my association said we should do it, so I just kind of just did it. I figure if they said it, they must have vetted all that information out for me, so I can just, take the pablum and just do whatever they say. And I was actually one of the folks that was very, very strict and also very good at following up with my patients, whether that be, getting their flu shots on time or their childhood vaccinations or, taking all the right medications for their, whatever it is, their heart disease, high cholesterol, that kind of thing. What started happening was that I just noticed that the things that I was recommending wasn't actually making people better. I mean, I was doing everything I was told to do and should do based on the current evidence, if you will, the things that were in my journal, and yet people didn't feel good. And it was kind of frustrating for me as a healthcare provider, wanting people to feel good, and it was frustrating for them because they didn't feel good either. So maybe you could say, well, Dr. Karen, it's your fault, that your patients, didn't heal or feel better. And to some degree, that is true. But here's the thing. When we focus our attention on outside of ourselves, what happens? We become victims. We become victims of our choices, and without taking full responsibility for those choices, the energy and the power is always with someone else. You see what I mean? So if we say, well, it's their fault or this company's fault or they, toxified this and they caused this, yeah, I get it. And at the same time, who chose to drink that water? Who chose to take that medication? Who chose to go to that particular doctor, right? We are continually learning, or at least I am. Hope you are too. We're continually learning more things, and we're understanding more now than we did before. And I'm sure 10 years from now, we'll know a lot more than we do right now. So most of us are doing the best we can with the knowledge that we have, with the training that we have, and hopefully you are evolving and learning more just like I am, because it's a really wild ride, when it happens. But ultimately, you are responsible. Now, I didn't say it's your fault, did I? Fault finding is one of those anti-healing habits that we actually have, and I would love for you to get rid of that habit right now. I know I've had to work on it for myself. And fault finding, okay, is again, it's a negative energy. And if you are not fault finding with others, but fault finding with yourself, what did I do wrong? Oh my gosh, what did I miss? Oh my gosh, I said I was going to drink water every day, but I didn't. And so it's my fault that I feel bad, bad or whatever. So fault finding is very, very different from taking full personal responsibility of your choices. There's a different energy. Just even say it. I take responsibility. Just say that right now. I take responsibility for everything I experience in my life. To me, it feels very neutral and actually somewhat empowering. I take responsibility for everything that happens in my life. So we take back our power when we understand that and say those things. But now say, it's my fault. Says, it's my fault I have pain. It's my fault that this doesn't work. Or you might say, it's their fault, right? And I feel kind of like kind of a heavy energy when I say it's my fault or it's their fault. And it's kind of like a stoppage of energy, right? Can you feel that? Just say it out loud. Can you feel that stoppage of energy? So I advise, instead of finding fault, now I'm not saying that, if there is something that is not healthy, that you could point it out either to yourself or a loved one if they ask you, things like that, or even as a medical doctor. I will share my opinion for sure. But I don't make that other person, place, thing, company the the responsible party for whatever I'm experiencing. We all have the choice. Some people don't think they have a choice, right? And you say, well, it's their fault because they don't think they have a choice. But let's see if we can kind of delete that from our, language, the fault finding. You can say you don't like something. You can say you don't prefer something. You can say that, I choose not to support this because it's unhealthy, right? And that's very empowering. So instead of making the mistake of constantly looking for whose fault it is, including our own, right? Let's instead take our power back and realize we do have a choice. Yeah, sometimes the consequences of our choice are not comfortable, but it doesn't mean it's an incorrect choice. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes the consequences of our choices are not comfortable, but it does not mean it's an incorrect choice. Sometimes people make choices that are hard to make because it's not popular, and they may get criticized for it. They may be called crazy for it. They may be censored, deplatformed, canceled, whatever, for their choices. However, at the end of the day, they're the ones with the power. So I encourage you to take full responsibility of your experience and your choices, and no longer put the onus of responsibility on others. And that includes when you're hiring a healthcare practitioner or a healer. Ultimately, the best healing is done by you. They may be there as a guide, a mentor, a conduit, somebody who has been there, done that, and shows you the next step. But you need to take the next step. The people that don't get results from energy healers, a large proportion of them, especially if they've gone healer shopping or doctor shopping, are those that are looking for a quick fix. And to them, a quick fix is 30 years at this point, but they're looking for someone else to fix them. I can tell you there are many times where people are like, have said to me, Dr. Karen, can you do this? Can you get rid of this? Can you get rid of any of these? Can you get rid of this block that I have? All this kind of stuff, right? And I may do a little free mini reading for that person. And then I realize they are not doing the minimum necessary to heal themselves. And even when I teach them how to do it for free, okay, and encourage them to do those things, do these free things, take these steps. I've even said, okay, give me some feedback 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now. Because, the cool thing about it, being an intuitive healer and a light medicine doctor, is that, it's a little bit harder to hide from me. In other words, it's not, oh yeah, I did these things. Yeah, I can kind of tell when you don't. And the funny thing is the grand majority of these people looking for me to rescue them, I either never hear back from them, or they say the same thing over and over again, like a broken record, and they never do the work. And I cannot do your work for you. I cannot take personal full responsibility for your health and well-being. You need to do that. And I need to do that for myself, right? So I hope this video has been helpful. If you like it, please do share with other people. This is going to be publicly shared through various different media. And if you'd like to learn more about light medicine and what I do, I have a workshop coming up. It is a 3-hour interactive workshop. We're going to be doing healing demonstrations and showing you how you can heal on a deeper level. I'm really excited about this. So I'll put the link near this video if you'd like to join me. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to interact with you. I'd love for you to experience some of this light medicine, right on the training. And please post in the comments, how you feel after doing that little exercise, saying it's my fault or it's their fault versus I take full responsibility for my experience. I would love to know. So if you could post down in the comments how those two things feel to you, I would love it. Let's help each other out here. All right, so I look forward to the next segment of this series, and until then, lots of love and have a wonderful rest of your day.